You know what I feel like we should decide?
What?
We should decide if we're a podcast that like the first words out of our mouth is the intro, or if we're a podcast that gabs a little and then is like, should we get into it? And then do the intro.
Okay.
What do you want to be today? We'll try a different one next time.
I feel like we just did a lot of talking, so maybe we do the intro today.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you prefer?
Either or.
Okay.
Hi. Oh, okay.
I guess it depends. It depends on the day, but you don't want it to be depends. You want it to be secure.
Well, only because I don't know what it is about this intro. Like it's on my checklist in my head is like,
yeah.
Like it feels
is. I forget that we're even.
It feels equivalent to like working out before you start your day. Like,
then let's
do it. If you don't
That's
work out, like
yeah.
you can't start the day.
Okay. All right.
Or like, are you a person that like?
Well, I feel like now we're
dabbing. So we'll try a different one for the next episode. Okay. But like, are you someone who like if you don't work out in the morning, you won't work out?
Sometimes, depending. Now with work from home, no.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, yeah,
because you can like go to a class in the middle of the day.
That's nice.
But recently I've been doing morning.
Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like if I don't do that morning, like it can't be done unless I've decided like I need to sleep in or we have a bunch of stuff we're doing in the morning over the phone or something, whatever. Then I'm like, okay, I'll work out after nannying.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if it's not done in the morning, it's not getting done. And for some reason in my head, I'm like, if we don't do the intro, we won't do it. But that has never happened. So I don't know where that fear's from.
Do you want to know what I did this morning? That was so weird.
Yes.
I went to EDM yoga.
At what time? No, tell everybody what time you went to EDM yoga.
At 7 a.m.
This is like so, like EDM yoga, already feels like too contradicting.
It's hot yoga too.
EDM hot yoga. You were at a rave at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday.
It was so lit. I loved it.
But yoga's slow. Like
no, not this one. Not this
really?
Place. I go to this crazy new yoga place. It's called Y7.
So you're like really moving to the beat.
Everyone hates Y7. I'm realizing it's for the mean girls, I guess.
I know someone who should go.
Yeah. Apparently, every time I've asked a couple of people if they want to come with me, and they're like, Nora, no, that's like where all the meanest girls go. And I'm like, I like it.
I feel stupid for not knowing. I was like, bring me whenever. Does it feel mean when you're there?
Yeah, I guess so. But like, it's just really like tiny ladies who are like really in their own head, which I like in their own space doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. But the workout is great. And I don't want to talk to anyone anyways at EDM 7 a.m. yoga.
I also think though that sometimes we're making assumptions based off of the clientele.
Yeah.
Like I used to do Soul Cycle and then I did another like spin class in person. Mm-hmm. And every time I was trying to convince people to go, I was at this place Ride in 14th Street.
Yeah.
Every time people were like, no, I don't want to be around the spin girls.
Yeah.
But then you get there and they're all nice. They just also happen to be tall and thin and have matching like workout sets. And it's like that type of person can suck, but it's like they don't all suck.
But then I looked in the mirror today and I had a pink scrunchie holding up my hair. Mm-hmm. I was wearing a matching Lululemon set.
You were one of them.
And I was like, oh my God.
Like it's happened.
I'm a mean girl.
Wait, I literally, Nora, when I was on the Upper East Side, like nannying round the clock, like I stayed overnight and stuff. Uh-huh. I was walking through the park with my smoothie in like, I was like wearing the mom's like Lululemon zip up, power walking through the park. And now this is me like on the Upper East Side and I've lost weight. And I was like, they think I'm one of them.
I know.
They don't know I'm the nanny.
I think
the comedian in Brooklyn. Like I'm one of them to them.
At Orange Theory, everyone knows me and it's like cheers. Like I walk in, everyone's like, Nora, we're all like hanging out. You know?
Also, as someone who's done like multiple gyms,
Y7 is like serious.
Orange Theory is a special place.
It really
There's
is.
really not a lot of gyms where you really are not focused on anyone but yourself and like you don't feel insecure and everyone's really friendly. Like this isn't an ad, but like we'll take you guys if you hear this, Orange Theory corporate. That would be so amazing.
Honestly,
if we could do
who did I hang out with on my birthday till 1 a.m.?
The coaches.
The coaches at Orange Theory. They came over.
See, that's only you can get at Orange Theory.
Like homie vibes.
The Peloton instructors?
Yeah, I don't want to.
They'll take a picture with you, but like they're not going to your birthday party.
I don't know. I had a great time this morning. Everyone was making fun of me on text, and honestly, every day I feel hotter just being there physically and emotionally.
That
because it's hot yoga.
Going
it's 90
to
degrees, 91.
What? Mm-hmm. In the room?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I actually don't think I could go. Remember, I was supposed to do that 15-minute sauna where they do the special thing?
It is. There was one day I went and I really thought I was going to throw up.
That the heat, I think, will make me too nervous.
It made me nervous at first, but then you get into it and you get used to it. It feels so good. It feels like it literally.
But in the summer, you go from that to outside?
I've never done it in the summer.
We're about to find out.
It's
literally summer this week.
Okay. Well, I'm going to find out.
Because I feel like in the winter, that must be amazing to be like warm and sweaty. And then, because there's nothing better in the winter in New York than like leaving a workout class and like,
oh my God, I didn't even think about the weather changing when I got 2 months of membership. But I think by June,
you live close by too. So you can go right home and sit with the fan.
Yeah. Although we can't really turn on the AC this summer because I just had my financial advisor meeting today.
And they said no air conditioning. They said it's not in the budget.
I kept saying, it's bad? And he was like, I don't like to use the word bad.
Which is him saying it's bad.
Tight. And I was like, okay.
I can take that.
So it's really bad.
Okay. The worst one ever?
It's the worst one.
I actually think if I showed up,
credit card debt, which is great. I don't have credit card debt.
Do you have any student loan debt?
No. So I feel good.
That's nice.
But he's saying that I'm going to have to work at least till I'm like 70. And I was like, honey,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know
I'm
our
like
pod's
smoking
about to
cigs and like biking around. Like I'm not making it to 70, honey.
I was going to say he doesn't know our pod's about to take off.
And that too.
And we can retire whenever, but we also will never want to because our job won't feel like a job.
I did say we are investing in a lot of.
You don't think you're going to make it till 70?
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
Nora, how old are you? That doesn't
32.
leave us a lot of time.
Every day.
We don't talk about it.
I think about it every day. 32.
I want to recross my legs.
But I've actually recently have been told I look very young.
I think you look young.
And one time someone said, this was a couple years ago, but probably still remains true. They asked me what grade I was in. Oh, which is creepy and crazy. Say? I was like, I'm a senior. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, I'm 27.
Wow.
So I think, you know what I think it is? I think when you stop drinking, you just stop aging. I really do believe that.
And I think,
I don't know what the cigarettes do, but so far everything's fine.
And honestly, like
and I'm
7 a.m. hot rave yoga, I mean, that'll keep you young. That's not for the elderly. That's not for the weak.
No, I have.
Is there an older demographic there or is like 20 to 30?
No. There's no old people.
Oh, okay. They wouldn't dare. I think your eyes really make you look young.
Thanks.
I think you have youthful eyes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very youthful look as well.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm also a little youthful.
You are. And you know what? I think we should talk about this more because when you asked me who Al Gore was on the last pod.
I don't know if that aged me. I think that.
No. That made me realize that we have an age difference. There's no reason for you to know who Al Gore is.
I think there might be a reason.
No, not really.
Okay.
You're 27. I mean, what are you, 27?
No, 26.
26? Like, it's okay for you to know.
Turning 27.
Al Gore was like in my life, you know? I mean, I'm also from DC, so maybe that was
it
as
well. No, but I also think like we do have a millennial and a Gen Z, like, and right now there's such discourse. Oh, this is a way to bring it back to the show. There's such discourse about.
I hate bringing it back to the show.
About millennials and Gen Z who grew up with Sex and the City, who's watching it for the first time now. And I think maybe we should lean into that and like share our POVs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
It's just hard because
I just said I hate bringing it back to the show. I just love the
and now I'm thinking about how maybe we need to do the intro in the beginning to ground us. That was like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hannah Drilliter. I'm just going to go for it. I'm Hannah Drilliter.
I'm Nora Freed.
And you're listening to High Heels and Punchlines. Episode 7.
I have to be honest, these last couple episodes that we watched, I'm not like obsessed with.
8?
Maybe. Oh, yeah. I guess I wrote more for that than
I want
7.
you to know.
Yeah.
And I know that we have a guest on for 8.
Yeah.
I'm really going to need special time to talk about what happens. Because for me and my love interest in the show,
I know.
It's a really big episode.
I thought about you.
I was like, this is a
big moment for
episode.
Hannah.
And of course I watched it and I cried.
You did?
I did, because it literally
with the rain.
It's so me and Wolf, and then especially last night having a terrible knife.
Freudian slip.
And then like Wolf like showing up, and then watching this episode of all this time, like Miranda being so cynical, and we'll get into it. We'll get into it when we get into it, but just know, and we might have to prep our guests that like, it's going to be hard for me to talk about anything else. Okay. But anyway, we're on the chicken.
Tell our guest she can't talk.
Yeah, okay. She won't mind. Episode 7, the chicken dance. This one is boring. Okay. Do you want me to do the highlights?
Sure.
Miranda's quote unquote more than a friend Jeremy comes to visit. Shar meets someone at the spoiler alert wedding, and she also meets his family. Big gives Carrie his spare toothbrush, and Samantha runs out of men to fuck. And Carrie's big question in this episode is, in New York, is it possible to believe in love at first sight?
She says, in a city as cynical as New York.
As cynical in New York. As cynical as New York.
Is it still impossible to believe in love at first sight?
Is it still possible?
Is it still... Oh, I wrote, is it still impossible?
We both have a botched quote. Okay, should we answer that?
Sure.
What do you think? Or did you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I've never believed in love at first sight.
Okay.
And I think love at first sight is for a different breed of people. You know, like maybe a more trusting, younger, like more optimistic person. But I think if you go through the dating pool of New York for so long, like even when you get the best one, like it's going to be maybe like a month before you're like starting to believe it's happening. And that's just my opinion. If you meet someone and you hit it off, that's great. But there's so many men that I went on first dates with, and like the sparks were flying, such an instant connection, so much fun. And then it turned out like shit, like they were awful, or they ghosted me, or then I learned really weird things about them and we were never on the same page. And then there's other guys who like, you know, a little bit of a slower burn have been like worth the little bit of wait and work, you know? I just feel like if you have love at first sight, Godspeed. But I don't think anyone should be waiting for it to make a decision about who they're with.
Okay.
What do you think? Sorry, my foot's really close to you.
No, it's okay. I like your strawberry socks.
Thank you.
I actually agree with Big on this one.
Which was?
He says, well, I believe in lust at first sight.
Are their phone calls just like the sexiest things?
I know.
What?
I love him randomly. It's
I
like
also love in these shows, like
he's like the most toxic person. I love him.
He's so good. These last couple episodes,
it feels like he literally is just he has all the strings, and she's his puppet, and it's just like he's pulling the right ones at the right time, and she knows. It's just so
and the two of them, he's good. Like, yeah. I will say though, like there's nothing funnier in these shows than the way people just like hang up without saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Next time, be at the door naked. Carrie just
yeah.
If that happened, I'd be like, are we okay?
Yeah.
Like, why would you hang up on that?
Yeah.
And even later, Miranda's talking to someone and she's like, well, I don't really understand. And I'm like, you guys, like, just say goodbye. Or just cut the scene. I don't like watching them hang up on each other.
Yeah. I believe with Big in that.
You believe in lust?
But I don't know. I think it's...
Do you think the wedding we got in this episode was love at first sight or lust?
I think she fit a profile that would make him think that he loved her.
And same for her.
I actually have something to say about this. When I worked in home design, it was very much like I could tell men loved that.
What?
Like the second they hear that you like decorate a home, there's something about it where they're like, oh, do you want to help me decorate my place? Like blah, blah, blah. And I think it creates this like almost domestic vibe. And I think she clearly was like a decorator. she was going to decorate his home.
And then she brought in this end table that he knew.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those professions for men that like they like immediately find hot.
It's a green flag.
It's like if we find out that someone's a doctor, you know, then we're like, all right,
like doctor, lawyer, like the big money jobs were like,
we're like
something that you can say to your friends.
Yeah, like he's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
But yeah, so that's what I think. That's what I think part of it was. Like she fit a very specific profile. If she had come in disheveled from her shift, you know, or something
at home decorating
at Home Depot, maybe he wouldn't. Not to. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. If she came in maybe in like overalls and a bandana
on her,
I feel like she still would have been kind of sexy, working late, dropping off end tables.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then maybe that was sexist.
No. I could see what you're saying.
But I'm just saying, like, if she was just having, maybe she came in from her startup job.
Yeah.
She had her laptop.
And maybe she
wasn't
like
holding a table.
And she just said like, oh, Miranda, sorry, I just wanted to drop off like some of these photos for you. Let me know which end table you like.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing could have happened.
I had a guy who said we were on a date and he was like, I have this table back at my house that I'd really like you to see, just to like inspect it and see if, because at the time,
did you inspect it?
Yeah, I thought he needed help with this table, so I went home with it. It's like not what was happening at all.
No, he wanted to have sex.
Yes, I was like, all right, where's the table? And I started like bending over.
I know it's guys say the craziest thing, and Nora so earnestly believes them, and then is shocked that this has all been for sex. He needed you to inspect the table.
Immediately got into his house and I started bending down on the like looking at the table, took out my phone.
He probably was shocked.
I was like, the wood is a little off. He was like, fuck the table.
He was like, this was never about the table.
Okay.
Okay. So do you agree? Okay. So in this episode,
I guess I kind of do, but I also think that when we are at a certain age that these women are in, and men, where we're just like, we want to reproduce or we want to get married or like whatever, we start seeing things like with rose shades or whatever.
Rose colored glasses.
Yeah. And
because that's the cool way to talk about it.
And it's just like, I think that was what was going on. He like saw this blonde woman. She's carrying the table. She has a job that's like, you know, like a little lady should have. And then
I'd love the full list of jobs the little lady should have.
Like, I'm a decorator, you know? It's like, okay, Martha Stewart.
But did you agree with Miranda later thinking like, if she never showed up, I'd be getting married? Or do you like, because Miranda is clearly thinking in this episode that like, I mean, he is ready for marriage.
Yeah.
It seemed like whoever fit those.
That kind of sucked.
He was clearly flirting with Miranda.
Yeah.
I felt terrible for her in this episode.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Like she's this guy is here and then he says what every like woman really does want to hear. Like, I'm ready to get married, and they're flirting and drinking wine and she's staying at her place. And then she's watching them get a date. And then they get engaged, and then she has to do the guest book.
That was the weirdest thing.
Really cruel.
I didn't realize the guest book was a job.
That's what really, guest book and bringing gifts to the van. Also, like,
that's not
steal
a job.
a gift.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I was thinking. I literally wrote, I would have stolen those gifts.
Yeah, I think that is really that was a weird
friends
job.
With this girl. Like,
yeah,
he sounds like he's her pen pal, and now you're in charge of asking the guests to sign in and carrying all the heavy gifts to the van.
Yeah, that was shitty.
It was so shitty.
She kept being like, "Do you want to sign the guest book?" She's like canvassing.
I wouldn't. I know.
She's like canvassing for like Environment America.
I thought it was so funny. Like, and she was like nobody was signing the guest book either, which I've never seen. Everyone signs the guest book.
Maybe
it was Miranda's presence.
I wrote something so crazy at my cousin's wedding in the guest book. Actually, I just remembered.
What'd you write?
I wrote, "This wedding has made me cry in a way that makes me think I really need to go back to therapy."
In their guest book? in their forever guest book?
I thought it was funny because it was tears of joy, and I was so happy for my cousin, but like I was crying a lot, and I was just like so happy. But then I thought about
you were
it
like,
later,
why am I crying so much?
And I was like, oh my God, like maybe that came off really weird.
I mean,
I'm gonna text him after this.
I didn't think people wrote notes in the guest book.
Oh, I write a note.
I think the guest book is just the names.
I was so emotional during the wedding. It's my cousin. We're very close. Mm-hmm. He's like a brother to me. He was getting.
My brother didn't have a guest book at his.
Really?
No, nothing to sign.
I just think it was just so. I was like, I could not stop crying. I was like, oh my God,
I can't wait to see what you put in my guest book. Oh my God.
Wrote in my other friends one time at another friend's wedding. I wrote best night of my life. It's like someone else's wedding,
which is like also like
I was like in a blackout.
That literally sounds so college.
This is the best night of my life. This night fucking rules.
You're probably I mean, when you're someone who when you're love to party, like a wedding is the best night of your life.
It was literally, I was like, this is the best night of my life.
And thinking about that being probably the only note in the guest book, it's just everybody's name and best night
of my life.
Nora. Okay. The first thing I wrote was Carrie playing with the toothbrush heads. I felt was really cute. And I thought Big giving her the toothbrush head was very cute. But this was so Carrie taking something so small and giving the whole relationship meaning.
Yep. She takes the bare minimum.
She literally takes the bare minimum. Puppet. Literally, she's being puppeteered.
Yeah.
She is. Who's a famous puppet? Kermit?
Yeah. That's the one.
Miss Piggy?
We could
go on. We could
Elmo.
Oh, he's a really iconic
classic,
puppet.
Right?
So's Kermit.
So I okay.
Oh.
Samantha forgetting that she fucked the guy.
Yeah.
I had that happen recently, not in that aggressively, but I matched with someone on Tinder, and I was like, wait, we already did this. I messaged him that, and he was like, oh, hi.
Was it that guy that came in that you were so happy to see?
No, that was so weird. So sorry.
We literally all thought you knew him.
Sometimes I say hello to people and I think they think that I know them. I think it gives off that I know them, but I'm just trying to say hello.
Hello to him in a way that was like, hi. It wasn't like, hey, passing.
He was so sorry. I don't know. I'm kind of had a long day.
It's been one.
Yeah.
It's been a day.
But yeah. And then I messaged him. I said, we've done this before, haven't we?
What'd he say?
And he was like, yeah, how are you? And I was like, wait. And I kept forgetting what happened. It was like,
did you think you went out with him or you matched
so
before?
Many dates, I was just kind of like, where did we go again? I don't even remember what happened yesterday. He was like, we went to this bar and blah, blah, blah. He's reciting the whole thing. He's like, so how are things going? I was like, well, there had to be a reason why we didn't continue this. So let's just stop the conversation.
Why? We're not going to go through this again.
Let's not do this again.
Do you have I feel like I remember when I was on dating apps, there were so many guys that I would match with multiple times on multiple apps, but that would never message me.
Yeah, they just want you to know they're still there.
They're just like, I'm still here, you're still here. And then there was a couple where I'd be like, we've literally matched on every app. Let's go out. And then they wouldn't respond. And I was always like, what they're watching we doing? You. And then a year ago, one of them followed me on Instagram. And I was like, no, you gotta go.
That's a lot.
You gotta go.
That's a lot.
You gotta go. My question about the toothbrush heads though.
Yes.
Carrie.
Yes.
Do you think the leaving the toothbrush, the having a spare toothbrush, is that the sign of a good sign in a relationship today? That it was then? I feel like that's an iconic, I have a toothbrush at his place thing. But I'm I feel like now we're all pretty casual, and I feel like we're a little closer. I feel like our comfort levels with men today, we're much more comfortable than these girls going out with guys. These girls, I feel like are still following the procedures and the rules and the guidelines.
Yeah.
Do you if a guy gave you his extra toothbrush head, is that to you, you're on the right path, or that means nothing?
This person I used to hook up with for a while in college, we would share the same toothbrush sometimes.
Okay, well, that's a little different.
But it felt very,
Wolf
it was
and I
kind of
share the
gross.
toothbrush
But it
sometimes.
was just like, I don't know. It was like, and that felt special.
Mm-hmm.
And now looking
That
back
is special.
at it, I was kind of, now I'm like, that's kind of gross.
I mean, but that's saved for like the most intimate of relationships, something like that.
So maybe Big should have just given her her toothbrush. His toothbrush.
Do you think she would have used his?
Yeah, she would have stuck that up her ass. Are you kidding
think?
me? Are you? He's giving her the bare minimum. He'd be like, "Here's a dirty shoe," and she'd be like, "This is it."
I don't know. I feel like she makes a mountain out of every molehill she has. That if he does anything out of line, when she does anything in line, she's in love. When he does everything out of line, she's spiraling. Like,
yeah,
you know.
I guess the toothbrush, it is nice. I would have been like,
he was
this
really
is nice.
Cute about it.
Yeah, and he was like the
dancing and then the kissing her head and handing it.
Yeah.
And then she's playing with them. I was like,
that was kind of crazy.
Grip, Carrie.
But I think it's nice. I think it's nice. I set up my friends, talking about setting people up. Not going to talk about you doing that. Okay. But because Hannah has set me up on atrocious situations.
One.
Okay. And it was really,
we were new friends.
Okay. And, but I set up my friend at, a New Year's party and they dated for like 8 years and it was accidental.
That's amazing.
I fell in the street. I was in LA and I was running across the street to meet my friend and I fell. And then this random guy came up and was talking to me and we were just like talking. I had like blood all over my knees. And then my friend came out and I was like, talk to her. I can't deal with this right now.
And
like
they were together for 8 years.
They were together for 8 years.
I set up my brother and his wife, and I set up my friends Marky and Shar, who have been together for 5 years now.
See, this makes me frustrated about what happened.
Yeah,
which I don't even know if we should get into because I think.
Well, we can talk off.
Okay.
Also, because you mouthed it, but like this pole is covering your mouth. Like I can't see what you mouthed at me. So it just like looked like you were like trying to eat it.
I'm just, we brought him up earlier in the year.
I got lucky that those two setups have worked out. I've set up other people.
Yeah.
But I also, and this is not about you, other times I set people up out of like my personality being like, I love to help and I love and like I want people to be. It was
very sweet.
I want people to be together.
Yeah.
And then I've learned that then when anyone has any feedback about the person,
it goes on you.
I'm kind of like, this is not about you, what I'm about to reference. It is about a different girl that I set up.
Yeah.
She just like kept updating me about this guy and how she was unsure. And I was kind of like, I'm out now.
Yeah.
Like, I told you I didn't really know this guy.
Goodbye.
I got you the intro. If he does something mean, tell me and I'll be like, fuck you, dude. But like, if you don't like him, like, oh, bummer. Like if he does something and you're unsure, like, I'm like, I did my part. Like, I don't want to be like the fairy godmother of it. Yeah. But that's not your situation, obviously.
No. And honestly, at the
setting
end
up is pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. And honestly, at the end of the day, I kind of ruined it. So.
No.
Well, I was kind of crazy.
Nora.
I know. We don't have to talk about it. But I was a little crazy in the end. I'm realizing, you know what I'm realizing?
Diet Coke on me.
Do you know, are you okay?
And a little bit on the couch.
Oh, shit. You know what I'm realizing?
What?
I'm not going to drag you into this. You know, when people are like, oh my God, I just broke up with someone, or I just went out with someone, they're fucking crazy. I think I'm the crazy one. I think I'm on the crazy side. And I think my friends are the crazy ones too. Like, I think when there's a conversation, like girl that like guy, or sorry, not girl, it's like like men in a locker room being like, that bitch is crazy. I think that is me.
Okay.
Like, because I'm realizing.
Okay, but can I say
that like we've like a lot of my friends will talk about our situations and then at the end we'll feel like, oh, I guess we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but well,
but everyone's boring. Sorry, we're not boring.
I also think men will call women crazy for asking anything of them that they are not interested in. They're like,
yeah,
she like wanted me to like text her back. Like she's
right,
fucking nuts.
Right.
But also
what I did in that situation was a little crazy because I pretended to
fun crazy.
I thought it was funny.
Fun crazy.
For the record, I pretended to be kidnapped in an Uber.
But she wasn't like sending videos of her with tape over her mouth. She just like sent a funny text.
They said kidnapped.
Yeah. If she was sending videos of her with like tape over her mouth, like in her apartment, like, that would be like,
it sucks.
I would probably have to rethink like our friendship. Like, I'd be like, oh, that's really a choice.
It just sucks when like, sometimes I think things are so funny and I double down on them and I'm like dying laughing. And then you realize the next morning that they're not funny.
And you know what?
And you're just like, oh.
I also think people, and I feel good now about the people I have in my life, but like I have definitely had friends who let me like wave my freak flag and make bad decisions. And it's like, if something is a bad idea, like, please tell me.
You can wave your freak flag with me. I hope you know that.
Well, with you as a friend, but if I was like, I'm going to do something and I tell you something crazy.
Well, I've told you when I think it's a little crazy.
And I feel like I've had friends that are just like, Hannah's being Hannah. And it's like, you can tell Hannah that Hannah shouldn't be Hannah all the time. Like, I want to know if I'm about to do something that is categorized as crazy.
Okay.
Because then maybe I'll still do it, but I'll now know like how the public would think about it.
I'm more like I do it in the moment and I don't really think before it and then I tell you after. So maybe I should stop doing that and I'll review it with you before I do it. Like I should have probably texted you and been like, do you think it's a good idea for me to tell him that I just was kidnapped in my Uber?
I would definitely have said like, is that an inside joke from the date?
Like, and it wasn't.
And I'd say, unless you think like it really would make him laugh, like I wouldn't send it. But like your thing last
I thought
night,
it was kind of an inside joke.
Last night you wanted a picture of that guy.
That was crazy.
And
that was crazy.
And you kept asking me, and I was like, and you asked Critter, and I was like, we don't need the photo. We don't need the photo.
No.
We were letting you know. Like,
I know, and I appreciate that. I love you.
I love you too.
Carrie, okay.
Back to the show.
How many weddings have you been in? What's your role as a bridesmaid? Like, are you like do you help organize? Do you keep things light? Like, what are your...
I've been in like, I think 5 weddings as a bridesmaid. And in all of them, I've been the farthest removed from the bride.
Okay.
Like in my brother's, like, it's my brother getting married, but like, I'm not, it's his wife. Like she has her best friends. And then like, I'm the husband's sister. So like, I have to be part of it. Or there was a wedding where a bridesmaid wasn't able to go, but they had already like asked a groomsman. So I was literally like, not that close, just asked to like step in. Like, I'm always the farthest removed. So I've never gotten to fully like live out my story as like a bridesmaid of one of my close friends.
Okay.
But I think I've always been like the kind of like quirky comic relief girl because I don't know anyone. So I'm always just like kind of like gabbing, telling stories, trying to get in there.
You can definitely tell stories at my wedding if you want.
Sure. I mean, I didn't do it at the wedding.
Do 20 minutes, whatever.
I didn't do it at the wedding.
Maybe we can
just when we were all hanging out.
Oh. Maybe we can just set up a stage and sit down and be like, actually, this isn't a wedding anymore.
I don't know if I'll do 20 at your wedding.
You can if you want.
I mean, I don't want to do comedy at your wedding. I would want to like tell a speech about you getting married.
Oh, it's so boring.
Like, don't do comedy at my wedding.
Oh, man.
I'll turn off the mic.
Okay.
I honestly,
so I can't be funny at all?
You can be funny within the perimeters of talking about me and my husband.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
no, I'm not going to be like, so a chicken walked down the road. No, I'd make it like related.
And it can be funny.
Yeah.
But I'd prefer a tearjerker over a joke.
Okay.
My wedding.
Maybe I'll tell everyone I'm kidnapped.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring that up.
I just got out of my Uber.
I don't think I'm going to be like a classic bridezilla, but I'm not going to be like crying and screaming day of, but I think there's going to be like a set of standards that if they're not met, like maybe you shouldn't be at the special day.
Okay. I'm so nervous now.
Just because I want a really traditional wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
Like once, and I want to say,
okay,
once we've said our vows and we've said our I do's and we've done the very traditional meal and live music and first dance. Once the food is gone and the live music has left and it's switched to the DJ.
So once the wedding's over.
No. Once the like fun starts.
Once the tables have cleared out.
Well, you know how that uncomfortable
we've let the
part.
wait staff go.
Well, like the wedding doesn't start until everyone's done eating because you have to like everyone's eating and you get it. You have to hear the speeches happen and the dancing happen, and like not the dancing like the fun part, the dancing like the first dance and the father-daughter dance. Right. Well, that won't happen at mine, but you get me. Yeah. Like after that, when like the live music is left and the DJ come out, like have a great time, grab the mic, say whatever you want. But like for me, like I really want those traditional things to not look corny. I hate when those I just hate when it's done corny. I want it to feel elegant and beautiful and moving and like special. And then afterwards, like, sure, get a glow stick, have a drink on the dance floor, grab the mic from the DJ, like go crazy once I've gotten what I've wanted. Was that a dark side of me? I don't know.
Okay. Lightly coming off as a bridezilla. Just as
but here's the thing: if everyone just follows suit,
if everyone
like
follows the rules, you won't see Godzilla won't come out.
I won't need to freak out if we all follow our rules.
Okay, I think I want to. Yeah, I think I can do that.
And you know what's going to be the biggest perk of my wedding?
Yes,
there is not going to be a chain of events leading up to it. Like,
okay,
there will be like a bachelorette party. But like, I don't see having like
we could do an engagement party too.
Probably engagement party, bachelorette, maybe one night. Like there's not going to be like 20 events that are going to cost hundreds of dollars that you have to do leading up to the wedding. Like I hate that. I don't want anyone dreading coming to anything.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I dreaded going to a lot of stuff I've gone to.
Yeah, no,
it's just so much extra money.
It's a lot of money,
and I'm like, you're choosing to get married. Why do I have to pay to go to Texas?
I can't even don't even
wait. So we have to get back to the episode. And what I want to talk about is this whole Big not signing the card, confused how how they got her name, and going on in the episode. In this episode, Carrie gets asked to read a poem at the wedding, and Big takes a phone call during her poem, which has also happened while, like, on top of when he arrives at her place, he doesn't want to sign the card for the gift. And when she said that they know his name, it was on the invite. He's really confused by that. Like, this was like, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe the way that she was so happy about the toothbrush, but then like kind of okay with all of this.
Yeah.
Like how, what I'm saying. Like, what are your thoughts on all of that?
Well,
like how would you react?
I just think he does the bare minimum and she takes it all. And she gets so excited when he does anything. Like at this point, it's literally anything. He could put his arm around her and she'd be like, that's it.
And then even when he said, like, she had to beg him to stay. And then he says, okay, I'll stay. And she's happy. And I'm like, he's your date at your friend's wedding where you read a poem that he missed. Like, he stays with you until you want to go.
Yeah.
Like, and then leaving
he's
early,
very selfish.
Cake in bed. Like, that's not what you wanted to do. You wanted to stay at the wedding.
He's a very selfish person.
How iconic at the ending when the bouquet fell in front of all of them.
I loved that.
I
love that.
She throws the bouquet. They're all standing there and they just watch it fall.
Yeah.
It's like, that was like an amazing way to end the episode.
It was great. I also, I think, what was I going to say? I hated her dress.
I'm reading that right now. I hated Carrie's.
No, not Carrie's dress. The woman who was getting married.
Oh, did you like Carrie's dress?
I thought it was kind of cool.
I think
like had like a unique vibe to it.
It looked so like she had just gotten like hurt or something. Like, you know, in the army when you see people all wrapped up.
Oh, she was like a mummy.
Like it was just a little, what do you think of her poem?
You know.
Talk about doing the bare minimum.
Yeah. She just, I mean, Carrie reading anything, speaking on the phone, articulating anything that's planned it doesn't go well for her.
No, it does not.
She's always like, it's like, come on, dude. Like you're good at this normally. Like,
what did
get
you
it together.
think about the crying that like her getting choked up and crying during the poem about Big answering the phone? I mean, I thought that was Like
it's very self-centered.
It's all like,
it's really crazy.
This is someone else's wedding, Carrie.
Yeah,
like,
it is really crazy.
You're reading in front of all the people at their wedding.
Yeah, like I was crying at my cousin's wedding for my cousin.
And you wrote that in that
And
book.
I wrote it down.
Like I was not crying because my hardly boyfriend answered the phone.
Yeah.
Also, I hate to side with Big because obviously his volume shouldn't have been on, whatever. But like, isn't he some like important business guy? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy. And him and her were joking about the poem. Like, I don't think she ever articulated to him that this poem was important to her. Like they were like literally laughing about it. And even him saying he was going to go, not to be like a big apologist, but like even when he said he's going to go, he's like, I'm not going to miss you reading this Love Glove Dove poem. And then they like laughed about it. I don't think there was any knowledge in his selfish little head that this was going to be important to her.
Yeah, but I think that's because she downplays everything. Anything that has to do with her, she downplays it.
But that's why I'm saying, like, to cry over him answering the phone during the poem, it's like, well, we can't be that upset about this. He does think that you think this poem is a joke.
But I think she was just doing that because she doesn't want to make him feel like she's taking the wedding seriously because she knows that he doesn't like marriage. And so it's like it's like her pretending to be chill and cool.
Right. And then
this
privately
wedding's
we're
funny,
seeing
but like
how she's dealing
she's
with
actually
it.
she actually wants to get married. She wants to have this and she's like playing it down.
Amazing acting from Miranda. I watched this episode twice and like Miranda's obviously would be the one who's like clocking Big leaving and looking at Carrie and like watching Carrie come back. And oh my God, like the second time I watched it, I really noticed it. Like the like eyes she darts at him when he leaves. And then she's like back, like checking on Carrie. And then when Carrie goes to the bar, she like watches her leave and then gives him a look before she says her line. I was like, that's great. Great acting there, Cynthia.
Yeah, she was doing really well. And I think I think Miranda in this episode and in the next one, she really is a homie.
She is.
She really is a homie.
She really shows up time and time again for her
friends.
friends after she's getting fucked over.
Yeah.
You would not, I'm sorry to say this, because I'd probably still go to the wedding for like the free food and to have maybe my picture taken, but like in a nice dress. But like in this situation, if I was Miranda, I'm not doing your guest book.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying your gifts to the car.
Yeah, that was a really shitty.
That sucked. But when she gave her the frogs, what did you think about that as someone in interior design? With a past in interior design, what do you think about the apartment, the end table, the frogs?
It was really, really crazy. The whole thing was crazy.
The frogs felt hurtful towards Miranda.
It's also kind of crazy that like just looking at the interior design of that space and also like just knowing, like, I think it's crazy that Miranda's probably she's probably 32, 33. She's hiring an interior designer. It's like so expensive. And then like, I mean, she might have gotten
some discount from Shar. I don't know.
But it's just like, it's just so crazy. Like that was a moment where I was watching it and I was like, oh God. And then I had my financial advisor meeting and I was like, oh God.
I feel like that was a little unrealistic though. Cause like maybe I really don't understand what people are doing, but like in my head, an interior designer is for someone who has like lots of excess money. And we know Miranda's making a lot of money, but this felt like out of character. Miranda seems like someone who like has her core stuff and then like buys stuff as she needs it.
Yeah.
Like this whole interior designer just for the guest coming was a lot.
I think also the interior designer though, you can like the way we used to pitch it was like when I was working in design is like you can also, if you don't have that much money to spend, it's good to hire a designer because they have like the tricks of like figuring out how to buy things and get things quicker.
That would absolutely get me if you said it to me.
Sales. But yeah, I just think that, so that like usually got people who were like, I can't spend this money. And I was like, well, what if we stayed in this budget and you're not going to be able to do that on your own? Like I have the key.
I would have absolutely signed up.
There you go.
I had a moment where I was on Shar watch for any time Shar kind of reminded me of you. And I don't think you're someone that is like demands attention, but her saying at the table that she wore the sexiest dress, bought the sexiest dress, and she's been to so many weddings where it's not been about her. And she was like, they're gonna notice me tonight. I was like, okay, that kind of feels
I actually kind of, when I was watching that, I was like, I feel like I've said that.
Well, because you're not 100% Charlotte, but like there's things that she says where it's like, oh, that's now Nora Charlotte. Like there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then this episode, I felt like that was very Charlotte of you and very Nora of Charlotte.
Yeah. No, I definitely resonated with that.
What did you think of Charlotte's storyline with hooking up in the honeymoon suite? And then
what I thought was weird was them spraying silly string all over the bed. Isn't that something that they should be doing with each other? Because it's kind of hell, like going in and there's silly string everywhere.
I've never heard of the bridesmaid and the best man, the whatever, like kind of like I always thought the hotel lays rose petal and complimentary champagne, but like I've never heard of like silly stringing and writing stuff on the mirror.
I just didn't. The silly string was crazy.
Well, I would have been upset if I get up to my bed of rose petals. It's covered in like goo that's been sitting there. I'd be
it just seemed kind of crazy.
At the plaza. This is a wedding that's happening at the plaza.
It was a little, I think the whole thing was a little cringe.
I can't believe she had sex with him in the honeymoon suite. That feels like Charlotte, who believes in all these like superstitions, like to sleep in the honeymoon suite when it's not for her wedding. Don't you feel like that would?
Yeah, but then at the same time, I feel like she's like caught up in the moment.
She was trying to manifest another like, I'm getting engaged in a week.
Yeah.
I hated. So the story goes on, she and this guy come downstairs and he introduces her to his parents, and she's like, I'm right on track.
Dad.
And the dad asked Charlotte to dance, and it seems
groping
cute.
her, yeah.
And then he grabs her ass, which is already upsetting. And then the way, what's his name, Martin, is like, my dad would never grope you just because you're in some slutty dress. I was like, oh my God. Like, way to like, thank God, I guess, but like to automatically show your true colors.
That's see, that goes back to the love at first sight thing, because I feel like sometimes like when you're dating someone, everything can be going so well. And then they'll say something so creepy like that. And then you'll like, when she was like, did the last 4 hours mean nothing to you? And I've definitely done that. I'll be like, what? Now you're showing me you're like a freaky weirdo?
Is this our guest?
And
this is our guest.
Oh yes, this is our guest. And I just think that it definitely makes me feel like I resonate with that, if that makes sense. Like I resonate with kind of something crazy happening and then being like, did the last like, short amount of time not affect you, if that makes sense?
No. And I also like, I felt like it was such like a gross, I'm sorry, hold on. This really, I spelled producer wrong like 4 times.
No, it's okay.
I didn't know she had my number. Anyway,
like I get being really taken aback, but then you have to think about it and you're like, wait, I've actually only known this person for 4 hours. But I like some guy that I was seeing a little bit ago, he like acted really weird. And then I was like, or maybe I was being the weirdo, but either way, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this to me. And then it's like, well, Nora, you've only gone out with him twice. Like, you don't know him. Like, you don't know him at all.
Of course he did this to you.
Yeah, like you literally, like he's
man.
like a crazy person maybe.
But it really, and I think, I know that dating is hard everywhere, but I really feel like in New York, like you do start to, like when things are going right, you're like, I'm all in. This is it. And then something happens and it's like, when I was dating in New York, it felt like it took forever to get something to stick.
Yeah.
And it's like, it truly is once you get someone that's like, you're not in the like, let's plan a 3rd date stage. Like you're now like texting and it's not weird and you're not anxious and like, you're going to see them. Like once you get to that stage, you're like, I will kind of I'll ignore a couple red flags to keep having this because I can't go back to square one. Like that's how it
you
feels.
don't want to like let it. Yeah,
and Charlotte was back at square one.
Sorry, I keep moving. I can't feel my feet.
Oh, okay,
because I'm so cold.
Oh, you're cold?
Well, my feet.
Your feet
are really really cold.
You're not cold in this room.
I'm a little cold, but it's mainly my feet. So I brought an extra pair of socks.
Oh, if you want my denim jacket, that would look cool with your new shirt. No,
okay.
I just meant you can put it on your feet. Actually,
I have another pair of socks, but I just can't. Yeah, no.
I was on Gay Watch. Oh, wait, you go first.
Okay, well, tell me about your gay watch.
I'm always on Miranda gay watch. Because every episode she literally says something about it.
Yeah.
And she said when this woman is getting married to the man she was supposed to marry in her apartment, she goes, I should have just hired a nice gay decorator. And I was like, and that storyline, maybe we could have skipped over what happens in the next episode.
Yeah.
We could get right to it. Now that
I think she was talking about a gay man.
No. You think?
Yes.
I was picturing the power lesbians again and their art.
I feel like the classic like stereotype is like a gay male designer.
I guess. Would you trust a gay woman or a gay man with your apartment more?
Gay man.
Oh, I think gay woman.
Really?
I mean, I guess I'd have to meet this gay man.
I think I just said that so quickly because I have gay male designers I've worked with that I like would trust. I just
have a lot of lesbian
not
friends.
That I wouldn't trust the lesbians.
No, you just already have.
But
those people.
I already have names in the back of my head.
I don't have anyone who works in design. I just have I have multiple lesbians who I know have just like the prettiest apartments. So my brain is just like, oh, I feel like I could trust them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying my male friends don't have nice apartments. I just like, I'm thinking about this one girl's apartment and it's just like,
really?
I would really trust her.
Wow. Yeah. Would you trust me to decorate your apartment?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
But I think we would need to I would need to like lay out my style because
I'd make a mood board
because my current apartment is not a representation of my style.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wouldn't want you to go off of what I've said I've liked and what my apartment looks like.
You wouldn't go off what your apartment looks like.
Okay, because my apartment is a mix of like
we'd make
furniture
a mood
from
board
when I first moved in.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, we should talk because it's about to get a revamp.
Yeah, and we can draw it out.
Anyway, is there anything we're missing on this episode that we wanted to talk about?
Let's see.
Oh my God, wait. Okay. Samantha had me laughing multiple times when she reminded me of you when someone says like that they fucked her or whatever. She was like, gotta start writing these things down, which was so funny. And then when the guy comes up to her at the bar at the wedding, that reminded me of you, the way she said it. The guy comes up to her at the bar at the wedding and he was like, I know you. And she goes, we probably fucked. Like she was so, her just identity being that like, she's fucked everybody. Yeah. And now she's just any person that talks to her, she's like, I know we fucked. She was killing me this episode.
And I do feel like when you get to an age where it really does feel that way, like it's starting to feel like the world is like really a little too small in New York.
Especially when you've moved to New York, because when you arrive,
it was the oyster. Oh my God.
You have everything is open to you.
Yeah.
And now you're probably at a place where like, like I have bars I probably can't go to anymore.
Yeah.
I've got people who maybe don't want to really run into me. I've got like, like you start making.
Yeah. You kind of make the rounds and then
you make the rounds and I just feel like it's so different. Like when you've really done some time here, I really lost my train of thought.
I understand what you're saying. I feel like it's a small city right now, honestly. I'm feeling a little like
I feel
claustrophobic.
Did I tell you about my claustrophobic dream that you were in?
No.
I'm not going to say the guy's name.
Okay.
But, well, I guess it'd be fine.
Do I know them?
No.
Okay.
Well, he's the guy that, I can't say this.
Okay.
I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
But you do know of him.
Okay.
I had a dream that I was on a ship, and all my anxiety dreams, I'm at water and I'm like, I can't swim or I can't see shore. Like those are how, I'm anxious. And we were on the phone literally right before I went to bed, which is why I think you were in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on this cargo ship and the seas are really rough.
Cargo ship.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of boxes and I go in a box to get something and it closes.
Yeah.
And then this guy comes up and is like he's like, where'd Hannah go? Where'd Hannah go? And you're like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think she's stuck in the box. And then he started talking to you and he was like, wait, follow me. And you like left with him. And I was like in the box freaking out to the point that it woke me up like at 4 a.m. because I was like trapped in this box.
I would never leave you in the box.
You would. I know you wouldn't.
I would never leave you in the box.
But I think maybe you guys were going to get tools. I mean, it's a dream to get me out of the box.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
I wasn't myself on the cargo ship.
And then I woke Wolf up, of course, at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my God.
Nora left me in the box.
I was just stuck in a box. He was like, oh, scary. The reason I think Wolf could be the one for me is because like I've never had a man be like so okay with like getting woken up like 10 times throughout the night and it not affecting his sleep schedule at all.
Yeah.
If he woke me up every time he woke up, like he'd be dead to me. But anytime I wake up, even if I wake up, sometimes I wake up, I go, I have to go pee. And
you know what that's going to be good for?
Kids.
He'll be the one that wakes up.
He's used to it.
There you go.
And I'll maybe be zonked out. I won't be zonked out. I'm sorry.
I never want to wake up for children and stuff like that. It seems like really awful.
When I was nannying around the clock and the little girl woke me up in the middle of the night, it was
like,
really
are you
like,
kidding me?
And it was like 45 minutes before the alarm was going to go off.
Yeah. Oh God. That would have really.
I couldn't believe it. I kept saying to her, I was like, you couldn't have waited 45 more minutes. And she's like 5. She was like, no. And then the next night I locked the door.
It's crazy. Like I was with my little cousin is 11 and we were having a sleepover and we went to bed at like 2 because we were up and watch like 1 or 2. Yeah. Because we went out to dinner with our family and then we came back and we started watching all this SNL. She's so cute. She like loves SNL. And so we were watching all these episodes. And then, so I fall asleep around 1, 2, wake up at 6 a.m. No problem. Hey, Nora, let's go. I was like, girl,
like we were up late. We partied.
We're at the club. like, are you kidding me?
Get your ass back in bed.
And she was like, yeah, what do you want to do? Come on, get up. And then just like really, kids are crazy.
They're crazy. And then at 6 a.m., I'm up making their breakfast and she's already screaming. She was like, waffles again? And I was like, oh, would you rather have cereal? She's like, yes. And I was like, and here it is. Like
the first time I ever lost a tooth was in a waffle.
Okay, now we're really. You saying that while checking the time was just funny. Like to realize we're over time and then be like, let me share the waffle tooth story.
I was watching Wizard of Oz.
Well, could you tell that we thought this episode was boring?
And on that note,
shout out to My Friend's Basement. Shout out to Becky Hermenzi and to Sean Curley, our intro and outro music. And that's it.
The orchestra. I need to go put another pair of socks on. I think it's really distracting.
Don't forget to say I love you.
I'm so sorry.
Just because you always say it first.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Just don't forget.
I love you, Hannah.
I love you, Nora. Bye.
Bye.